My name is Christopher Allen Maloney, and this is Why This Movie, a podcast where we talk about the movies we love and why we love them. Today I'm speaking with Scout, a high school student from the greater Boston area. Hi, Scout.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm all right.
Good.
So, Scout, how do we know each other?
You are my dad. Hi, Dad.
Hi. Yeah, so I guess I've pretty much known you your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So, what movie would you like to talk about today?
Today, I'm going to be talking about Pee-wee's Big Holiday.
Morning!
In 2016, Pee-Wee Herman, played by Paul Reubens, followed up his last movie from 28 years earlier with Pee-wee's Big Holiday.
Hi, kids!
You're the sweetest boy in Fairville.
Morning, Pee-wee!
Morning, Pee-wee! Don't you ever wonder what life is like outside Fairville?
Nope.
You know I don't want to go anywhere or try anything new.
Bye. French toast is up.
Cool.
What can I get you?
Milkshake, please.
Flavor?
Let's say chocolate.
3, 2, 1, chocolate. Wow.
Thanks. You ever been in a fight?
No.
Broken a rule?
No.
You ever had two women fight over you?
Have I? No.
I think I know why you and I met. You're gonna leave Fairville. And you're gonna take a holiday. You got a choice to make. Stick around here, or live a little.
Bingo! My very first holiday is off to a perfect start!
The Jackers, where you headed?
Drive, Pipsqueak.
Come on, let me go. Where are we?
The woods.
New York City.
Our village. A snake farm.
Oh, you coming with us. This your lucky day.
Where should I sit?
By me!
Ow!
Would you like to say a few words, Pee-wee?
Encyclopedia? Pimple? And, hairball. LATTIHTBD. Look at the time. I have to be going.
In this adventure, Pee-wee is invited to a birthday party in New York by actor Joe Manganiello, which prompts his first ever holiday from work and his hometown of Fairville. Almost immediately, Pee-wee meets three women straight out of a Russ Meyer film who enlist his help escaping whoever it is that's chasing them. It turns out that they are fugitives who have just robbed a bank, and Pee-wee has inadvertently become an accessory to a serious crime.
Perfect start! Uh-oh. Those nice women are in trouble.
The Jackers, hop in! Where you headed? Hello?
Drive, Pipsqueak.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh!
Time is of the essence, Daddy-O. Put the pedal to the metal.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh!
Floor it, worm.
There are several smaller diversions and excursions along the way, but Pee-wee and the three women all eventually arrive in New York City. The women are arrested, and Pee-wee heads to the birthday party. Pee-wee Herman is an odd entity. He was created and performed on stage and in comedy clubs by Paul Reubens before first appearing in an HBO special in 1981.
As I was saying, it's a revolutionary comedy idea. A kids' show for grown-ups. Really brilliant.
Really mature.
Starring Mr. Pee-wee Herman, whom you've already met, and featuring a stellar cast, including Captain Carl.
Captain Carl, did you remember to wash your hands?
No! Miss Yvonne and Mailman Mike, Messrs. Clocky and LaCroix, the Jelly Donuts.
What happened to our hibachi?
To name but a few, who under the guidance of Mr. Herman mold elements of dance, drama, pathos, yes, even tragedy.
Gosh, give me a break.
And a great deal of weird stuff. Into a zany and inventive comedy event the likes of which you've never seen. Ergo, I strongly urge you to watch the Pee-Wee Herman Show. Okay?
Okay.
This was followed a few years later by Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which was the first feature directed by Tim Burton, and then by the television series Pee-wee's Playhouse.
And then it dawned on me this here's a pajama party and, well, I don't have any pajamas to wear.
Well, what do you sleep in, Cowboy Curtis?
Nothing. I sleep in the nude.
See your problem.
The character became ubiquitous with Paul Reubens, who passed away suddenly in 2023. So, Scout, my first question. I've made it my business to show you some really good classic movies. I showed you The Godfather not too long ago. Do you remember what you said about it?
Yeah, I said it was a little too long.
Yes, you said it was too long. I showed you Psycho, which I think you loved.
Oh yeah, I love Psycho.
Everything by Steven Spielberg.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember I showed you 2001: A Space Odyssey?
Yeah,
Do you remember why?
You said that me and my brother should work on our attention spans, and this would help it.
Uh-huh. Did it help?
I think it did, actually.
Okay, good. All right, so my question is, if I've gone about the business of showing you so many good classic movies, why is it on this occasion you want to talk about a movie that's so silly from such a silly character? What is it about this movie that stands out to you?
So I watched this movie a lot when I was like really young. It was one of the regulars in our house. And I don't know, recently I was like humming something from it, and then I looked into it and I was like, oh, I remember this movie. And then I was like, this is like such a good movie. I remembered how good it was and I rewatched it. And rewatching it as a teenager, I realized how silly it was because when I was younger, I would like when you're young, you don't really question like movies and stuff that are silly and weird. But rewatching it, I was like, this movie is so bizarre and fun. And it's just such a wild ride and it's great.
So the movie came out in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have been 6.
Yeah.
So at 6, I guess you already knew who Pee-Wee Herman was, right?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I didn't really watch like a ton of new TV shows that were just coming out. I mostly watched stuff from the 80s or 90s. Like I watched a lot of Nickelodeon cartoons and stuff like that. And that was one of the like older TV shows that we watched all the time. And it was just about Pee-wee and his magical playhouse. And he had this, like a lot of the furniture could like move and talk. And he had a magical robot. And remember Jambi?
Of course.
He was just a floating head that like he got 3 wishes. He got 1 wish every day.
The wish is granted. Long live Jambi.
Yeah, Jambi was I guess like a genie, but also like I always thought of him like a fortune teller.
Yeah, he looked like a fortune teller, like he wore like a turban or something. But he didn't really tell your fortune, he just gave you 1 wish every day.
Wake, go, genie, if you hear, calling Jambi to appear.
You rang?
Hi, Jambi. Cowboy Curtis needs a pair of pajamas for the party. I wanted to make it my wish for the day.
PJs, huh? Well, Cowboy, what sort of fashion statement would you like to make? Trendy, traditional, sensuous?
So when you were really little, if I asked you to do something, after you did it, you would say, "The wish is granted. Long live Jambi."
Yeah, because when Jambi said you have 1 wish today, Pee-wee, and later he would make the wish, And then he would, I don't know, some sparkles or something would happen, and then he would say that. He would say, "Your wish is granted, long live Zombie," and the doors would close. Because basically he was just a head in a box.
He, right. Someone would come talk to him once a day. The rest of the time, he was just stuck in the box, I think.
Which, you know, I never thought about how weird that was, because I just, like, knew it. Like, oh, here comes Zombie. There goes Zombie. That's it.
So, yeah, when you were a little kid, you watched Pee-wee's Playhouse a lot, and we turned some of the furniture in our living room into characters the way that Pee-wee did. So, like, we put big eyeballs on the chair.
That's right.
Called it Cherry. And then you also had some toys, like some Pee-wee Herman toys. So what was it that, even as a really little kid, what made you like Pee-wee so much?
He's an adult, but he has, like, the character, he's an adult, but he has, like, the mind of a child, and he's not afraid to be, like, silly or wacky. Like, that's part of his whole personality. So I felt like having Pee-wee, like, in my life, like, gave me the ability to be, like, silly and goofy sometimes. Um, like, he would talk to the camera, and I feel like he understood us, like, the audience, sort of, if you know what I mean.
Like he understood kids?
Yeah, because I mean, I didn't grow up on these, but a lot of shows, they talk to the camera in such a weird way, like, "Hi, kids, who's ready to," and he just, like, didn't really do that. He was just he spoke our language, sort of.
Today's secret word is door. No, you all know what to do whenever we hear the secret word, right? Scream. That's right. For the rest of the day, whenever anybody says the secret word, scream real loud. Ready? Let's try it. Hey, Magic Screen. What's that red thing over there?
What's a silly question, Pee-wee? It's the door.
So you're aware of Pee-wee through, like, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, his first movie, and then Pee-wee's Playhouse, obviously. So specifically, what is it about the story of this movie, or like the sensibility of this movie, that stands out to you?
Believe it or not, I don't really compare the movie to the show and his other work. I just think of it as a standalone because I already know the context of who Pee-wee is. But it's about more than just Pee-wee, I feel like. I think it's about going out into the world and trying new things. Because he's never left his town. So Joe Manganiello just shows up and goes to Pee-wee's workplace, his diner, and asks for a milkshake. And they just start talking, and they realize that they both like root beer barrels and stuff, and they find a special connection. Pee-wee gives him a tour of Fairville, the town he lives in. And also, I want to mention Joe Manganiello. In the movie, he's just as childish as Pee-wee. Like, he's not acting like Joe Manganiello IRL. He's Joe Manganiello as Pee-wee's best friend. He is also very childish. And then he says, like, Pee-wee, you got to get out of this town. Because he says, like, what's beyond the gates of Fairville? And he's like, I don't know. I don't really care. And then Joe is like, you have to leave this town because you got to explore new things. And he's like, why? And he's because, like, I want you to come to my birthday party, is basically what Joe says. And Pee-wee is so motivated because he wants to be there for Joe that he, like, just goes on this very long road trip across the country.
Do you think that Pee-wee Herman and Joe Manganiello in the movie, do you think they're in love?
Like I said, when you're young, you watch a movie, you don't really question anything beyond what's on screen. But now I can sort of see, like, that's a really cute theory, and I like it. That could be it. But I don't think it's, like, love, like true love, because they're not really adults. They have the minds of kids. So it's really just like a childhood crush sort of thing.
Right. Like it's like there's a romance between them, but the way that, like, kids might understand romance.
Yeah.
Are there things in the movie that make it seem like a love story?
I think for sure. Like, first of all, there's this they show this trope of them riding off together on a motorcycle. Spoiler, it happens at the beginning and the end. Um, and Pee-wee has like two or three dream sequences on his way, and he's imagining like him and Joe at the party, and they're speaking slow motion Spanish for some reason, and there's like pretty violin music in the background, and I never interpreted that as romantic until now. Like, that makes so much sense. Their minds are too young to want to kiss. Like like I said, they're not really adults. And I think the part if it is about romance, the part of romance they're showing is having someone who loves you give you having someone who loves you as a motivation to come out of your shell.
Yeah, and I think it's okay that like two men can be friends and really love each other and care about each other without without necessarily jumping to the conclusion that they're like in love with each other or that they want to be together as a couple.
Mhm. 'Cause there is sort of something in between friendship and romance, and it could be that.
What's so the part near the end of the movie, you know what I'm going to ask you about. So what is the part that always made you cry?
Oh, geez. So, at the end, he is finally in New York. He's on his way to Joe's birthday party. He's so excited. They have this musical number, even though it's not even a musical, there's just one song. He's excited, Joe's excited, and then he's, like, right there, right in front of Joe's, apartment, and then he falls down a manhole, and he's trapped, and it's so sad because he cries so hard. Joe's crying too, I should say. Joe is up in his apartment. He's fully dressed in his suit. He's on his bed. He's eating a bag of Doritos and watching TV. And he's like, I really want him to come to my party. And his party is just going on downstairs. And there's like 100 people there. Like half of them are like celebrities. And he's like, I'm not going down there because I'm so upset Pee-wee didn't come. And I think that's also an observation of like they're both childish because it shows both of them being sad that they can't come together and celebrate Joe's birthday. And then Joe Joe comes over to rescue him when he realizes Pee-wee's in the well, and he says, "Pee-wee, I was bawling my eyes out up there 5 minutes ago. I was afraid you wouldn't come." And he's like, "Really?" And it's such a sweet moment between the two of them because it shows how much they care about each other.
You talked about this a little bit, but is there like a message to the movie? You talked about like Pee-wee coming out of his shell, trying new things. What do you think? So someone like Pee-wee is like, if you knew someone like Pee-wee in real life, you would definitely think they were eccentric at the very least.
Mhm.
Why do you think Pee-wee, so like in the show, Pee-wee's Playhouse, he's always seen inside his playhouse. And then in the movie, he's never left the town of Fairville. Why don't you think someone like Pee-wee would feel compelled to ever leave town?
I think deep down he's sort of afraid because Fairville is sort of his safe space in this movie. And like everyone knows him, everyone likes him, everyone's like, "Hi, Pee-wee." Like everyone's so nice to him and he has so many friends around town. And he doesn't feel like he needs to leave because he's like, "This is all I need." Really. And I think part of him is sort of afraid because he's not sure what's out there. I think it's like fear of the unknown. I mean, there are a lot of scenes where like he is scared or he is like nervous or he's sad, but I think he realizes that you can't just like have a happy life all the time. Like there has to be some adventure there.
So one of the main reasons why people go to the movies in the first place is because they want to see characters that change, characters that learn something, that seem different at the end than they did at the beginning. So what do you think, what kind of transformations did Pee-wee go through, and did he learn anything?
First of all, I think he learned that I think he found something to motivate him, and that's Joe. I think he's realizing that there is a reason to leave his perfect life, and that's Joe because he loves Joe so much. And I think another thing that he realizes is this is a perfect time to bring up like the three bank robbers because they're sort of the bad guys in the movie, but they're not like like they're not like so evil and like mean spirited. And I noticed something watching it again. The robbers um also sort of have a childish mind. Like they don't really think ahead. They just sort of like wing it. But if you were like an actual criminal, you might like plan ahead more, but they're sort of dumb. And I think also something is one of the bank robbers, um, her nickname is Pee-Wee, and there's this special moment when the robbers kidnap him and they introduce themselves. There's Pepper, Freckles, and then one of them's named Pee-Wee. And there's this moment where they like look at each other, and I think they both realize. I think Pee-Wee realizes there's someone who's sort of like me out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could boil it down to that. Like the reason it was important for Pee-wee to leave home is because he probably assumed there was no one quite like him.
Mhm.
And if you always stay in your own little safe environment, you'll never be able to see for sure if there's anyone else like you.
And I think he meets a lot of characters. Like I said, there are a lot of wacky and crazy characters that wouldn't exist in real life. And I think he sees the similarities between him and the other people outside of his town.
So maybe the world isn't such a scary place after all.
Yeah, that's what I think.
This morning, we're remembering Paul Reubens, the actor known for his role as Pee-Wee Herman. He died after a private battle with cancer. Eva Pilgrim has the story. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, George. Reubens had been fighting cancer for the last 6 years. In a statement made public after his death, he apologized for not sharing his diagnosis, writing, "I have always felt a huge amount of love and respect from my friends, fans, and supporters. I have loved you all so much and enjoyed making art for you."
Do you remember getting the news that Paul Reubens had passed away?
Yeah, I do. I was really sad. Like, it took me a minute to process. I was like, whoa, 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 wait. Um, yeah, I was really upset about it. And then shortly after, like maybe a day or two later, they were showing Pee-wee's Big Adventure at a movie theater, and Mom and I went to see it. And it was really cool to like you can probably assume that everyone else was there because they heard the sad news and wanted to go and like celebrate him like in honor. And it was really cool to be there and have everyone else just like there honoring him at the same time.
Right. Yeah. What do you think? Like now that Pee-wee is, like the character of Pee-wee is gone, won't show up again.
Mm-hmm.
Through the movies that we've had from him and the TV show that we had from him, what do you think the point of that character was supposed to be? Like, what are we supposed to take from it?
I think it's supposed to show that, well, I mean, he's an adult, he has the mind of a child, but I think it's supposed to be showing that not only to entertain kids, but also he's saying to adults, like, you can still have a sort of childlike mind. Like, you can have some part of your mind and perspective that's childlike. Because even though a bunch of, like, even though the world is like, sad or scary sometimes, you can still, like, have fun and be silly, and that's okay. I think he's trying to encourage people to find the fun in life. I wanted to call attention to the balloon scene because I love it so much, and it's so long, but it sort of shows what I'm trying to say. Like, there's a part where he goes to he ends up in an Amish village, and he's like, "What do you guys do for fun around here?" And they say, "We don't. We just work all the time." And he's like, "Well, you gotta have fun." And they're like, "What do you do for fun?" And he takes out, no words, he takes out this balloon, he blows it up, he like presses it against his chest and like squeezes the like nozzle like to make a high pitched squeaking sound until the balloon is deflated, and the whole scene is like 2 minutes, just straight. And as he's doing that, all the other Amish people are coming to watch him. And then when it's done, I don't know, after it shows like all the Amish people with their balloons like doing it afterwards. I think that's part of what I'm saying. Like he'll say, "This is fun. Like life is fun and you can make it fun." And they're all like, "Yeah, okay, we can." And I hope that the Amish people do the balloon thing every day now. I think he inspired them, which is sort of dramatic, but on a bigger scale, that's sort of what Pee-wee's character is about.
Thank you for listening to Why This Movie. If you have a movie that you love that you'd like to talk about, email me at christopherallenmaloney@gmail.com, and you may be featured on an upcoming show.